Oh, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of, nigga. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene, nigga. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you a house or something, yo.
You do.
Everything. You can imagine everything. Private jets, Miami, hundreds of thousands in one weekend, 2 tour buses, Atlanta. Like, cannot front on how I had my boys moving. And I'm only talking about this because you was...
Hey, relax. You appear to require attention. You seem to need to leave. To the dentist. You must appear as though you need to brush your teeth. You appear to require personal hygiene. It appears that you require assistance. Tell your boyfriend 50 to say anything about you. Hey everyone, everything. You were able to envision anything. Miami, private aircraft, hundreds of thousands in a single weekend. Atlanta style, 2 towering buses couldn't front the way my fellows were moving. And the only reason I'm discussing this is because you were the world of hip-hop is currently on fire. The most recent altercation between Jim Jones and Tony Yayo is the focal point of the explosion. A conflict that almost immediately escalated from smooth talk to full-fledged exposure, when Tony Yayo intervened with a level of vigor that the internet wasn't prepared for. What had begun as Jim attempting to respond and protect his reputation swiftly turned into something much more. Suddenly, discussions, memes, reaction videos, and side-by-side comments erupted on every timeline, comments section, and hip-hop forum as people attempted to determine who was being honest and who was trying to save face. Jim might have assumed that he could outsmart the issue as he normally does. But this time he encountered someone who wouldn't let anything go.
God planned for you to come here and spaz on y'all niggas tonight.
I spaz?
I'm just saying, it was a plan.
I mean, I do be on some Hollywood shit. It was in Europe. Something like, yo, stop talking about Europe. I don't, like, when you come here, you gotta deal with niggas.
Vlad like that, bro. See how niggas is? See how niggas is,
nothing with Vlad.
He ain't treat Vlad like that.
Jim Jones has long been renowned for his impassioned interviews, audacious claims, and conversations with the assurance of someone who feels untouchable. But Tony Yayo's retort undermined his statements rather than merely challenging them. Fans referred to the entire situation as an unquestionable expose because he gradually provided screenshots, timeline checks, and previous footage that exactly matched his accusations. Social media was already declaring it a knockout by the time the first round of receipts went viral. The fact that it was so unexpected made it much more bizarre. Nobody expected Yayo, the always composed and quiet GUnit member, to enter the ring with such aggression. But when he did, he swung more forcefully than anyone had predicted. Both men symbolize significant periods in New York culture, which is why this beef struck such a deep chord. The early 2000s were shaped by Dipset and GUnit, seeing 2 well-known characters from those illustrious movements clash in. 202 for 2025 produced a hip-hop plot that was both nostalgic and combustible. Their styles, crews, mixtapes, and attitudes are all classic. Fans weren't merely observing a dispute. They were witnessing the collision of history. However, Tony Yayo wasn't arriving with nostalgia in this instance. He had evidence with him, and that completely changed the tone.
You see,
I do my own tours. I did tours in Canada. I did a tour across the whole Germany and the Swiss Alps. And that's why I don't care about the hate. Cause I'm like, I got the possibility to do my own tour. Like something with Memphis Bleak. Memphis Bleak said to Nori, Yayo said, Jay-Z didn't have us on tour like he did, or I eat my own halal. I eat my own halal too, if you want to say that. To Memphis Bleak, I just came off my last tour. All I'm saying is when you see Jay-Z in a setting, he never really, when he's doing a Beyonce show or whatever, you don't see Memphis Bleak on the stage and him being brought out. You know, even if I'm doing the hype man shit with 50, he's bringing me out. I'm making money. I'm going to...
That's that man girl too.
That's it. That's whole wife tour.
Yeah, that's whole wife tour.
So I believe if Hov was out on his own, he would bring Bleak out. There is no need for him to bring Bleak in a situation where it looked like if this was last tour you're talking about with the Cowboy Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, Because I look at Bleak as a loyal guy, like
Yeah.
I'm a loyal guy to Jay. But I look at like Fifth, my guy Hervé, one day we had TRL, and it's the young gun that's there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him about it. And Hervé says loud, you don't gotta worry about nothing. You got 50. Jay-Z doesn't do nothing for these guys like 50 does. And Hervé, I think he worked with them too.
Rather than diffusing the situation, Jim's remark raised further queries. He presented fresh information, reiterated some claims, and adapted to establish control of the story. However, comparisons were already prevalent on the internet. People kept asking why Jim's account kept shifting, looked up prior interviews, examined body language, and snipped previous statements. Yayo, meanwhile, sat back and let the receipts do the talking while making sporadic remarks that only heightened the tension. Although the society values disagreement, it values clarity even more. Additionally, they think that the tension between Jim and GUnit is now more apparent than it has ever been. What appeared to be trash talk has evolved into a thorough probe headed by the internet. And in that setting, it's the individual with the strongest facts rather than the strongest. Personality wins. There were no dramatic charges or passionate outbursts in Tony Yayo's expose. It manifested as patience, timing, and accuracy. Fans claimed that the tactical approach was more akin to a documentary than a disc. Every assertion Jim made was refuted. There was context behind each statement. Every detail was backed up by a verifiable source.
Stack Bundles, one of my favorite rappers in the world.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Right?
Brian
And-
Squad. Rest in peace.
Far Rock,
Yep.
you understand? Jim Jones, he had Stack Bundles, he had Max B. I looked at it like, wait, you know. Stack's Bundles had a portion was still in the hood. No disrespect to Jim Jones. Fifth had me in Battery Park. I could walk out that barefoot.
Get the
See,
socks.
that's when a nigga love you, nigga. You get the socks, nigga. Sneakers Dior, nigga. But I'm walking out there barefoot. That's when you know a nigga love you, boy. Cause he making sure you don't get your shit split. Cause you go back to 134, anywhere, Baisley, right, Brooklyn, shit get split. Once I got shit, nigga shot my shit up. Bentleys and all that. Y'all can get that sneaker, just toss that over there. My shit's official. You know what I'm saying? Yo, look, but nigga put me in position. Rest in peace to Stack, but Stack got killed in the project with a Porsche.
Yeah.
Nigga, come on, nigga, I'm from the hood, nigga. Y'all niggas thought, nigga. I done been around the Black Justice and Sheena Preems and all that, nigga. The E-Money bags, all that, nigga. The younger niggas under that.
So with everything you
Maserati Fox. Real
saw,
nigga, huh?
so with everything that you saw, what would you change?
I just pray to God every time I leave the house.
But what would you change?
Change what?
Pass the cup.
I heard you talk about all the shit you went through, all the shit niggas is still going.
God, what? In contrast to past hip-hop controversies based on hearsay or partial truths. This one turned into a conflict between timelines. Additionally, the one who makes the clearest connections frequently prevails in timeline wars. Yo's discovery of previous audio clips in which Jim said the exact reverse of what he was saying now was one of the most significant moments. The speed at which the conflict emerged astounded fans. It wasn't a single interview or a single error. It was an assortment of declarations spanning several years. And the internet did what it typically does once those videos went viral. It started excavating. All of a sudden, fans began sharing side-by-side edits of Jim stating one thing in 2012, another in 2017, and a whole different version in 2024. The whole thing turned into a digital mosaic of contradictions. The fact that Yo didn't even need to add disrespect made it hurt much more. He let the facts speak for themselves. He calmly and clearly presented his position without taking the matter outside of recorded history. Fans weary of manufactured beefs and inflated stories were impressed by this strategy. Yayo arrived with a degree of clarity and discipline that made him appear credible and self-assured. And Jim began to lose ground when it came to credibility. He has been accused by detractors for years of embellishing stories, rewriting events, or putting himself at the center of instances that didn't always correspond with what other people remembered. However, he maintained control over the story as long as no one directly questioned him. Tony Yayo intervened with proof, totally altering that dynamic. Every time Jim attempted to defend himself, he yanked the rug out from under him. The hip-hop community responded right away. You had GUnit supporters from the past. You had disgruntled fans who were fighting the avalanche of receipts in an attempt to defend Jim. The same thing was repeatedly stated by impartial observers. The story doesn't fit if the timeline doesn't match. Hip-hop is being shaped in real time by this new wave of digital accountability. Talking in circles is a thing of the past. Fact-check, fans. They contrast interviews. They view old videos again. Consistency is important to them. Additionally, Jim's interactions with Yo's receipts demonstrated how different the media landscape is now, because this feud would have been a mixtape war in the early 2000s. It's a war on documentation nowadays. Tony Yayo also brought a folder containing numerous files. The internet did what it always does best as the situation worsened. It made the whole dispute into a full-fledged inquiry, in order to piece together what actually transpired between Jim Jones and GUnit during their heyday. Fans, bloggers, podcast hosts, and independent content producers dug through years of archive material.
Understand the business he's doing, and they always look at Jay like, oh
Yeah.
But
That's why, that's why you got like Yayo talking about, Jay don't take care of. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
Yo smoke hard coke,
Yo, chill. Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of, nigga. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene, nigga. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something, yo.
You do need
You
that
might
help.
need
That's
2
why-
ounces, nigga.
That's why
Paid
you
in full
looking to
movie,
see.
nigga. I got a G for every bump in your face, nigga. I promise you that, nigga.
That's
I
a
promise
fact.
you that, nigga.
That's why he worried about
Peon, you broke, nigga. You know
See?
I got it, nigga. What's
Don't-
up? The
ain't
bag
nobody-
is up. The both sides.
Hey, yo.
Hey, Flea, where the both sides, Flea?
Let me finish that off. Ain't nobody taking care of over here, B. Yo, nah, you good, my nigga. I fucking love it. They deserve it. They need to hear this shit, man, because they bugging out here. All these niggas worrying about who taking care of who. We take care of we. Ain't no
100%,
who
nigga.
take care of who, nigga. You know who doing it. We live.
Us,
We getting money.
nigga. We take
You
care
feel
of
me?
everybody, nigga. We take care of each other, nigga.
That's a fact, my G.
Additionally, the story went well beyond the initial fight after people began investigating. Clips from the studio reappeared. Sessions, early YouTube vlogs, MTV News bits, backstage videos, and old Hot 97 interviews. Dipset was mentioned by GUnit members in a few videos. Others mentioned GUnit while displaying Dipset. Every detail was examined by commentators. Attire, settings, body language, background, and dialogue. In addition to listening to what was said, fans were also examining the manner in which it was expressed. Experts in body language offered their opinions. Context was added by street historians. Even casual fans felt like investigators piecing together the history of New York rap over 2 decades. Additionally, Jim's situation appeared to be becoming worse as more proof emerged. The number of times he altered important details regarding the identical circumstances was broken down by others. They noted how some of his tales became increasingly dramatic over time. His description of what happened wasn't always consistent with that of other Dipset members. Tony Yayo, meanwhile, profited from a crisp plot, something uncommon in hip-hop. He never attempted to exaggerate his role. He never entered into pointless stories. For years, he maintained his consistency. Fans therefore saw him as a trustworthy source when he eventually spoke up. He had a significant advantage due to his reputation for being honest, even bluntly honest. Someone who speaks clearly is adored on the internet. Additionally, in this instance, simple speaking prevailed over polished talk. The way that fans link the dots between long-standing conflicts, long-standing alliances, and long-standing political divisions within the New York rap culture intensify this digital research. People went back to the Dipset versus GUnit period, recalling the conflict between 50 Cent and Cameron. They examined whether Jim's present actions were a last-ditch effort to change that time period to his advantage. Fans got much more zealous in obtaining receipts when that concept gained traction. Timelines were overrun with memes. The edits went viral. Reaction channels broke down and dissected every aspect for hours on end, much like analysts going over game video. It was more than simply a beef. It turned into a hip-hop assignment. Additionally, supporters believed that they understood the source of the inconsistencies for the first time in a long time. One message reverberated around social media by the time the investigative waves subsided. Jim was not exposed by Tony Yayo. Jim revealed himself. Because no clapback could match the truth that followers were piecing together once the internet began linking timelines. Jim Jones found himself in a cultural bind as a result of the internet's strong bias in favor of Tony Yayo, and pressure started to mount. More people began to wonder how many times he had changed things over the years, not just with GUnit, but also with other rappers, other movements, and even Dipset's own past. His reputation as the crew's spokesperson, always speaking, narrating, and taking center stage now began to work against him. Fans started posing more significant queries. Why does Jim feel the need to be the center of attention in each story? Why does he appear in every story in some way? Why does so much information vary depending on the interview? These weren't assaults. They were observations. The internet was merely displaying trends that had been ignored for many years. Additionally, it was impossible to overlook those patterns thanks to Tony Yayo's cool, collected dismantling. Yayo maintained order in the interim. He didn't get aggressive. He made no threats. He was not offensive. He simply continued speaking as though he knew the truth would stand on its own 2 feet. In a society where many artists rely on theatrics, that strategy made him appear even more powerful. There has never been a more striking contrast between composure, lucidity, and emotional defensiveness. Additionally, a larger societal shift occurring in hip-hop was tapped into by this dynamic. Authenticity is more important to fans now than ever. It makes no difference how large someone's catalog is or how well known their movement was. People won't support them if the stories don't add up. Hip-hop used to emphasize dominance. Accuracy is now given priority. Additionally, Tony Yayo was a weapon of accuracy. Jim's annoyance leaked into interviews, social media posts, and oblique remarks that seemed more like damage control than assurance. He attempted to portray Yayo's receipts as unimportant. He made an effort to portray himself as misunderstood, but followers now had the proof in front of them, so each attempt felt forced. He was playing catch-up because the story had already changed. Additionally, other fans brought up the fact that Jim had been embroiled in several public confrontations over the years in which comparable contradictions surfaced. When Yayo's position came to light, many claimed it validated their preconceived notions. Jim is devoted to the show rather than the reality. Additionally, performance is swiftly penalized in this day and age. This does not imply that Jim Jones is done. He is still regarded as a cultural icon, an entrepreneur, and an artist. However, his credibility is at stake. Furthermore, trustworthiness is just as crucial in hip-hop as a catalog. The neighborhood begins to treat your words like costumes rather than truths if you talk too much and are caught too frequently. Tony Yayo is currently in the lead. He's cleaner not because he's louder. The hip-hop community's perception of Jim Jones has changed significantly as a result of Tony Yayo's expos, and the hostility hasn't subsided. Fans will perceive Jim's refusal to confront the actual receipts as an admission of defeat the longer he stays silent. The topic of discussion has switched from who is right to why this was kept a secret for so long as a result of Yayo's composed supremacy. At that point, a beef has transitioned from entertainment to a cultural reset area. Because it doesn't matter who is wealthier, tougher, or has more hits, the streets are viewing the scenario in a new way. It concerns who is speaking the truth. Furthermore, the most precious currency in hip-hop is the truth. Fans no longer desire charisma. Thus, Jim's attempts to take back control of the story are failing. They're looking for consistency. Ironically, Jim can ensure his legacy without embellishment. He has moments, he has history, and he has hits. However, by continuously fabricating tales, he established a pattern that Tony Yayo recently revealed on the largest platform imaginable, the internet. Additionally, the internet never forgets. When fans call someone unreliable, the label sticks more than any diss track. There is more to this feud than just two legendary figures from New York. The entire industry can learn from it. The receipts will ultimately find you if you rewrite history. Someone who is quieter will expose you if you speak louder than your facts. The culture will correct you if you lie to them. Tony, you entered into this circumstance with the intention of telling the truth rather than seeking to win. The reality struck more forcefully just because of that. Jim, however, reacted as though he was no longer in control of the story. Fans also noticed the change in power right away. Where does this proceed from here? Jim could intensify his efforts. He could disregard the circumstance. He might attempt a second comeback. Alternatively, he may confront the receipts directly. Fans are waiting for him to make the move. But until he does, the opinion on the internet is final. Jim Jones is down, Tony Yayo is up, and their disparity in credibility is greater than it has ever been. Hip-hop history will always remember this entire incident as the point at which the culture decided to prioritize documentation over theatrics. Consistency over confidence, and truth over talk. If you liked this in-depth look into the most recent hip-hop turmoil, be sure to subscribe and like the video for more explosive breakdowns, cultural assessments, and unvarnished tales that are now influencing the rap industry.